Good afternoon. The Home Secretary, Priti Patel, says MPs may be offered police protection at constituency surgeries following the killing of Sir David Amess. A security review, which is already underway, will consider whether these meetings must take place with a pre-booked appointment. Well, the man arrested by police following the killing of the MP, Sir David Amess, has been named as Ali Harbi Ali. The 25-year-old is being held under the Terrorism Act. Officers have until Friday to question him. Our political correspondent Peter Saul reports.
This tight-knit seaside community continues to mourn its Member of Parliament, stabbed to death while meeting the people he was elected to represent. The tragedy has really hit home for MPs, many of whom considered Sir David Amess a friend, and some are reassessing the way they work.
None of us are afraid to walk out of our doors and to attend local events and do surgeries and meet people, but now there's obviously a fear that there's bad people out there that want to do harm, and David is a victim of that, and so I'm afraid it will change things.
Do you feel safe doing your job going around your constituency?
No, not really, if I'm honest. I feel quite fortunate to have a lot of constituents who are concerned about my safety. Wigan's that sort of place, people look after each other.
Security was tightened in MPs' offices following the murder of Joe Cox in 2016, and many believe action is needed now.
I do think there's more to be done by Parliament working with the venues where we hold our advice sessions, local authorities and otherwise, to make us more physically safe. For instance, with screens, as you have now for COVID.
The Home Secretary said her world was shattered when she heard about Sir David's death, and she's now considering a range of measures to protect her colleagues.
We're doing a lot of practical things right now in terms of advice for MPs. But I think it's fair to say we all have to be incredibly self-aware, conscientious as to how we conduct our business.
She herself has been subject to online abuse and also spoke of proportionate action against anonymous social media accounts.
Order! Order!
Part of the Commons Speaker Sir Lindsay Hoyle's role is to ensure MPs are safe. He's acknowledged the need for improvements. But in a newspaper article, he stressed the importance of constituency surgeries, describing them as a cornerstone of our democracy. He also said that the political conversation had to be kinder and based on respect. In recent days, party politics have been put to one side. And in a further sign of respect, Labour and the Liberal Democrats will not contest the by-election that will now need to take place here. Peter Saul, BBC News.
Well, our correspondent Greg Mackenzie is in Leigh-on-Sea. And Greg, look, after the vigil last night, it still really is a community coming to terms with what happened.
Well, a town in mourning indeed. Now, I've been here since 5 this morning, and from 5:30, members of the public and locals who knew Sir David coming here to pay their respects. Some of the messages here on these floral tributes say, missed, gone too soon, much missed. Now, Sir David was a much-loved local MP here. There was a vigil held yesterday, a candlelit vigil at a local sports centre. Today, there will be a special church service at 4 p.m. to really remember and honour Sir David Amess, who tragically was killed on Friday just behind me.
Greg, for now, thank you. Well, our Home Affairs correspondent Daniel Sanford is with me. Daniel, what do we know about the progress of this investigation?
Well, while a lot of work is still going on in Leigh-on-Sea, part of the focus of the investigation has very much moved to London. We've been watching today as officers are prepared to search a house in the Kentish Town area of North London that's believed to be connected to this investigation. Counter-terrorism detectives are trying to find out more about the suspect, Ali Harbi Ali. His father is involved in Somali politics and spends most of his time either in Kenya or in the Bounds Green area of North London. Ali Harbi Ali was detained at the scene of the attack and is now being held at a London police station. He can be held up until Friday because he's now being held under the Terrorism Act before he gets charged or released. And it is worth saying at this stage, he is still a suspect. He hasn't been charged. OK,
for now, Daniel, thanks very much. Daniel Sanford there, our Home Affairs correspondent. In other news, the government has taken over the running of the South Eastern rail network, which connects Kent and some of East Sussex with London. The move was announced last month after Govia, which had been running the franchise, failed to declare more than £25 million of taxpayer funding. Passengers have been told they're unlikely to see any immediate changes to services. The Duke of Cambridge will call for society to unite in repairing our planet when he takes to the stage tonight at the first awards ceremony for his environmental prize. The Earthshot Prize will celebrate 5 winners who've come up with the best solutions to tackle the world's environmental problems, as James Reynolds reports.
Each year, we will award 5 £1 million prizes to those who we believe can transform our chances of repairing our planet.
Prince William's Earthshot winners will be announced tonight. The prize takes its inspiration from President Kennedy's 1960s moonshot, the desire to unite around a single scientific project.
Ultimately, if we want to tackle this, if we want to get on the front foot, we've got to bring people with us. And people have got to feel like there's hope, there's a chance we can fix this. And that's what the Earthshot Prize is about, is providing those solutions to some of the world's biggest environmental problems.
The project's won praise from his own father. We need to come together to build the sustainable future we so desperately need, tweets the Prince of Wales.
A less wild world is a less stable world.
Prince William has also teamed up with David Attenborough, who has himself spent many years warning of the dangers posed by climate change.
That's why I agreed to join the Earthshot Prize Council.
I noticed the ironing vendors in my street using charcoal.
The Earthshot finalists include 14-year-old Vanisha Umashankar from Tamil Nadu in southern India. She's designed a solar-powered ironing stall. It even has a mobile phone charging point. And earlier this week, Buckingham Palace and other London landmarks were lit up in green to mark this evening's Earthshot Awards. James Reynolds, BBC News.
The US real estate heir Robert Durst has been hospitalised with COVID just days after he was sentenced to life in prison. On Thursday, he was found guilty of murdering his best friend Susan Berman in 2000 to stop her talking to the police about his wife's disappearance. The 78-year-old has medical issues and is on a ventilator. The musician Alan Hawkshaw, who composed some of TV's most recognisable theme tunes, including Grange Hill and Channel 4 News, has died at the age of 84. He was admitted to hospital this week with pneumonia and died in the early hours of this morning. Our entertainment correspondent Lisa Mazimba looks back now at his work.
During a career that lasted more than 40 years, Alan Hawkshaw composed the music for some of TV's most popular shows. His work could be fun and quirky, like the original Grange Hill theme, or like the Channel 4 News theme, at the more serious end of the scale. He was also a highly sought-after studio musician who could play a variety of instruments and composed for more than 35 films. But his talent for writing memorable TV themes is what he'll be best remembered for. They were heard by millions of viewers each week on shows like Dave Allen at Large, and it's almost impossible to think of Channel 4's Countdown without hearing his perfectly timed music.
And I was already fighting a deadline when they rang up and said, look, we just need this clock music and a theme for that bills for a proposed quiz show called Countdown. Can you do it? I said, well, not really. I'm busy with this stuff. He said, well, look, try and get it together. And then the story's, it goes on. I forgot all about it. And then they rang me up and said, have you done it? I said, yeah, and I hadn't. And that's where the story is, you know, I was in the loo, actually. And I got the idea for it, so.
He may never have been a household name, but almost everyone knew Alan Hawkshaw's music.
The musician Alan Hawkshaw, who's died at the age of 84. Britain's #1 men's player, Cameron Norrie, has reached the final of the Indian Wells tournament in California after beating the Bulgarian Grigor Dimitrov in straight sets. Whatever happens in this evening's final, he will now enter the world's top 20 for the first time, as Ben Croucher reports.
For a man who's taken the long road to tennis's top table, all of a sudden Cam Norrie is in a hurry.
Cameron Norrie.
From Johannesburg via Auckland, London and Texas, age 26, Norrie is now accelerating towards his potential.
He's made that.
The Indian Wells Masters is one of the most prestigious tournaments outside the majors. Norrie was playing in his first semi at this level. He turned Grigor Dimitrov at times into just a spectator. First set, 6-2, 32 minutes. The second took a bit longer, but then when's that ever bothered Norrie? Not when you can fire forehands so freely and swing serves so sweetly.
Game, set, and match, Norrie. Norrie is into the final.
It's going to be my biggest match of my career again tomorrow, so go out there and hopefully do more of the same. And there's a lot of work to be done, and I'm looking forward to the occasion.
Following Emma Raducanu's success at the US Open last month, it's turning into quite the Indian summer for British tennis. Better late than never. Ben Croucher, BBC News.
That's it for now. The next news on BBC One is at 20 to 5. Have a lovely afternoon. Bye-bye for now.